In quality assurance for digital education, there are two complementary approaches. The first is external quality assurance, which involves accreditation or certification processes. The second approach focuses on internal quality assurance. This presentation is centered on analyzing the second approach. To illustrate what it involves, we will use as a case study how external quality assurance has been addressed in the European higher education area. I will begin by discussing the main approaches to quality and quality assurance in higher education. Next, I will explain the European approach to quality assurance in the European higher education area. This will include an analysis of the European standards and guidelines for quality assurance. Then I will review the key programs used to ensure quality at the institutional level, the level of degrees, and teaching and learning. Finally, I will provide an overview of the achievements in quality assurance in Europe and the challenges it faces for the future. As I just said, I will start by giving an overview of the main approaches to quality assurance in higher education. When analyzing quality models, we can say there are two main approaches. Both aim to ensure the quality of education. First, there is the American approach. This model is driven by higher education institutions themselves. It dates back to the 19th century. To ensure quality, universities or training centers create associations. Each association sets its own quality standards. External evaluations are conducted by peers. The focus of the evaluation is on the quality of the final educational outcomes. States and federal government recognize the results of these evaluations, which are led by university associations. The other main model, found in Asia, Latin America, and Europe, is led by public authorities. These systems are more recent. The initiative comes from the states. Public quality agencies are created. These systems are based on self-evaluation and external peer evaluation. The evaluation covers both the process and the outcomes. This slide shows the steps to quality assurance maturity. The first step are quality systems based on external accreditation. Governments set a regulatory framework that defines the minimum requirements that institutions or programs must meet. The focus is on meeting the standards of the accreditation model. Innovation is not encouraged. Public authorities, quality agencies, certification bodies ensure that institutions meet a set of requirements to offer their educational services. The next step are systems based on internal quality assurance. These relies on a strong institutional commitment to quality and improvement. Institutions design their own internal quality systems based on frameworks defined by quality agencies. The process involves a self-evaluation phase, an external review by peers, and suggestions for improvement. These systems involve not only the university management team but also academic and administrative staff and students. Each group understands its role in contributing to quality. Finally, the most advanced step is quality systems based on continuous improvement. In this system, universities independently design their own quality assurance systems. The focus is on improving the quality of teaching and learning. In this presentation, we will focus on analyzing internal quality assurance systems using the quality approach in the European higher education area, EHEA, as an example. Next, I will provide some data on the European higher education area. Today, the European higher education area includes 49 countries, over 4,000 higher education institutions, and almost 33 million students. The Bologna Declaration of 1999 is considered the founding document, and it lists the goals for creating the European higher education area, EHEA. Some of the main goals include creating a comparable degree system with 3 levels of study: bachelor's degrees of 3 or 4 years, master's degrees of 1 or 2 years, and doctorates, promoting European cooperation to ensure the quality of higher education, supporting and encouraging the mobility of students and administrative staff between EHEA countries and institutions. As I have just mentioned, improving the quality of higher education has been one of the main goals in building the European higher education area. Here are the main milestones. The first step was the Bologna Declaration, where countries agreed to cooperate in improving quality. This cooperation led to the 2005 publication of the first version of the Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance in the European higher education area. These standards required the creation of national quality agencies. In 2007, the European Register of National Quality Agencies was created, leading to the formation of the European Network of Quality Agencies. In 2015, a second version of the Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance in the European higher education area was published. Finally, in 2018, the European Network of Quality Agencies published their considerations for quality assurance of e-learning provision. Next, we will briefly analyze the Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance in the European higher education area. Here you can see the three main objectives of the Standards and Guidelines for Quality Assurance in the European higher education area. First, to create a common framework for developing quality assurance systems in the European higher education area. Second, to build mutual trust between countries and higher education institutions to make it easier to recognize degrees and support mobility. Finally, to provide information on quality assurance. The European standards and guidelines are based on the following four principles. First, higher education institutions have primary responsibility for the quality of their provision and its assurance. Second, quality assurance responds to the diversity of higher education systems, institutions, programs, and students. Third, quality assurance supports the development of a culture of quality. Fourth, quality assurance takes into account the needs and expectations of students, all other stakeholders, and society. What is evaluated? Institutions and degrees are evaluated separately, although in countries like United Kingdom and the Netherlands, only the institutions are evaluated. The evaluation covers both teaching and learning, as well as research. In some countries, additional areas are also evaluated, such as student well-being in Finland and internationalization and entrepreneurship in the Netherlands. Evaluation scope and goals. All higher education institution is evaluated, regardless of the study mode, face-to-face, blended, or online. There are two main goals: accountability, providing information and data to the public; continuous improvement, offering advice and recommendations based on the evaluation results. Before we review the standards and guidelines, let's clarify these two concepts. Standards describe agreed and accepted practices for quality assurance in higher education. These standards must be taken into account by EHEA in all forms of higher education. Guidelines explain why each standard is important and describe how standards might be implemented. They also offer examples of good practices for consideration. The standards for quality assurance are divided into three parts: internal quality assurance, external quality assurance agencies. These standards require European universities to define their own quality policy, follow specific procedures for designing and approving study programs, ensure that teaching and assessment methods are student-centered, set procedures for student admission, progress, recognition, and certification, apply certain principles to faculty selection and promotion policies, ensure that they have the necessary material resources to deliver their teaching and support students, provide clear and up-to-date public information about academic offerings and university activities, regularly monitor their programs, undergo periodic external evaluations. When it comes to external quality assurance, public quality agencies should take into account. Universities are primarily responsible for their own quality assurance. External quality assurance should support and recognize this institutional responsibility. Stakeholders should be involved in designing and improving external quality assurance programs. External evaluation processes must be reliable, useful, consistent, and publicly transparent. The process includes self-evaluation, external evaluation, report generation, and regular follow-up. External experts, including students, should conduct evaluations. Evaluations must follow clear, public, and consistent criteria. Reports must be clear and accessible to the university community. Systems should exist to handle complaints and appeals effectively. The third group of standards relates to how public quality agencies operate. They are responsible for external quality assurance. They must have their own legal status and be recognized by the appropriate authorities. They should be independent and act autonomously. They must periodically publish reports that describe their activities. They need adequate human and material resources to carry out their work. They should have their own internal quality assurance systems. They must undergo regular external evaluations. Next, we will look at how the European standards and guidelines for quality assurance were implemented. First, it's important to remember that the standards were designed to respond to the diversity of university systems and degrees in the countries that form the European Higher Education Area, EHEA. This means that the same standards have been applied but adapted to the realities of each country. Based on the European standards, each national agency has developed internal reference frameworks, adapted to his country, to design internal quality assurance systems. Universities, using these reference frameworks as a guide, have designed their own quality assurance programs at the institutional level for their programs and degrees and for evaluating teaching and learning. These programs designed by universities are evaluated and approved by national agencies. Finally, the quality assurance of the agencies themselves is evaluated through an external process managed by the European network of quality agencies. Now, I will explain the deployment of the European standards related to external quality assurance was carried out in Spain and how UNED, my university, designed and implemented its own internal quality assurance system. In Spain, there are a national quality agency and 8 regional agencies. Together, they form the Spanish network of university quality agencies. These agencies jointly establish protocols and common evaluation criteria to harmonize their activities. Next, we will look at how the European standards and guidelines for quality assurance were implemented. This slide shows the various programs aimed at internal quality assurance in Spanish universities. For each of these programs, quality agencies have designed reference frameworks that serve as guidelines for universities to develop their own programs. Audit provide guidelines for designing universities' internal quality assurance systems, a set of 3 programs aimed at ensuring the quality of academic programs. Verifica program, which evaluates program design. Monitor, which provides guidance for tracking the implementation and development of programs. And Acredita, which establishes criteria for the external recognition of programs. Lastly, Docencia program provides guidelines for developing teaching evaluation systems. The audit program aims to guide and support universities in developing their own internal quality assurance systems. To design and implement an internal quality assurance system, universities require to create an organizational structure to support it. In the Spanish National Distance Education University, at the university level, there is a University Quality Assurance Committee integrated by vice-rectors, representatives from faculties and schools, directors of associated centers, tutors, and students. Also at university level, improvement teams are formed to address specific issues. At the faculty and school level, each faculty and school has a quality assurance committee responsible for defining and developing quality policy objectives, creating improvement plans, and leading the accreditation process for degrees. This committee includes the dean, vice dean of quality, faculty secretary, degree and master's program coordinators, representatives of tutors, students, and administrative staff. Their functions include developing the faculty's quality policy, improving study programs, and facilitating the external accreditation of bachelor's and master's programs. Finally, the university has a quality office that provides technical support for quality processes and manages relations with the National Quality Agency. The main objective of the internal quality assurance system is to optimize university management to meet the needs of stakeholders. The framework includes 3 types of processes. Strategic processes. These include developing the university's strategic plan and defining and implementing a quality policy. Core processes. These cover the design, implementation, and review of the internal quality, IQ, for the central headquarters and associated centers, the monitoring and accreditation of degree programs, and quality assurance in lifelong learning offered by UNED. Support processes. These include defining, reviewing, and improving indicators and questionnaires used to gather feedback from stakeholders, providing technical support on quality matters to various quality committees, and promoting a culture of quality through training and the identification and dissemination of best practices. Next, we briefly present the programs aimed at ensuring the quality of study programs. These are the 3 programs focused on ensuring the quality of academic degrees. Next, I will briefly summarize their main features. In Spain, the first step for ensuring the quality of degrees is the verification of the program design. This measure was implemented because before the EHEA, Spanish universities lacked experience in designing their own degree programs, because previously there was a single catalog of degrees designed by the Ministry of Education. With the EHEA, each university was given the autonomy to design its own degrees. Design verification includes a review of the program's description, justification, and objectives. It also examines student admission procedures, curriculum design, faculty qualifications, the material resources of the university, and expected outcomes, such as graduation rates. Once the design verification is passed, the university is authorized to offer the degree. The UNED, like all distance or online universities, must meet special requirements for student admission procedures, technology infrastructure, and faculty training for teaching online. Once a degree program is implemented, a monitoring process is conducted, which includes reviewing and updating public information about the program, analyzing key academic rates, success, dropout, graduation, collecting evidence on the functioning of the quality assurance system, overseeing improvement measures. The renewal of degree accreditation takes place every 6 years and considers 7 criteria grouped into 3 main areas. First, the management of the program is evaluated, focusing on the implementation of the curriculum, the availability of information and transparency, and the functioning of the quality assurance system. Secondly, resource management is assessed, which includes the academic and support staff, as well as the adequacy of technical and material resources. Finally, results are analyzed to verify how well students have achieved learning outcomes, as well as to measure satisfaction and graduation rates. Through the Docencia program, the agencies provide universities with guidelines for evaluating the quality of teaching. The Docencia reference framework proposed by the Spanish agencies requires the evaluation of teaching planning, teaching delivery, assessment of learning outcomes, academic results, and actions for improving teaching quality. According to the quality agency's guidelines, the evaluation should be based on sources such as the teacher's self-report, a report from academic managers, student feedback on teaching, and a set of quantitative indicators of teaching activity. To design our Docencia model for teaching evaluation, we started with a comprehensive analysis of the special characteristic of teaching at UNED. Firstly, we have taken into account that our large number of students requires the formation of coordinated teaching teams and the role of tutors on student support and continuous assessment. There are also differences due to the use of online teaching methodologies, the need of development of instructional materials, and the use educational technologies. The UNED model assesses various aspects of teaching, including teaching planning, delivery, assessment of learning outcomes, and the evaluation of academic results and teaching innovation. The evaluation relies on self-reports from the teaching team and individual professors, which include proposed improvement plans, feedback surveys completed by students and tutor professors to assess the teaching experience, a set of quantitative indicators reflecting teaching activities, which are used to create reports for academic administrators, department heads, and program leaders. The results from the teaching evaluation support the development of improvement plans, provide evidence for program accreditation, and offer merit recognition for professors, thereby facilitating their career advancement. Since 2015, an institutional accreditation program has been implemented in response to the sustainability challenge of degree accreditation. In Spain, we have more than 8,000 undergraduate and master's degrees. To simplify the process, an institutional evaluation model has been introduced. When an institution is accredited, it does not need to individually certify each of its programs. These programs automatically renew their accreditation with the renewal of institutional accreditation. To qualify for institutional accreditation, universities must meet two requirements. They must have certification for the implementation of their internal quality assurance system. They must have renewed the accreditation of at least 50% of their programs. I would like to close this presentation on the European approach to quality assurance with an overview of its implementation and an analysis of the challenges ahead. To do this, I will present a brief summary of the preliminary results of the Quality Assurance Fit for the Future project. This project involves the European University Association and the European Quality Assurance Network. Regarding the benefits reported by internal quality assurance systems, overall, 83% of institutions reported a positive impact from implementing internal quality assurance, with benefits including improved data for decision-making, stakeholder collaboration, and alignment with national quality assurance or accreditation processes. Institutions highlighted three major benefits of external quality assurance: quality enhancement, degree recognition, and common standards in higher education. Additional suggestions: support European university alliances. Regarding challenges, universities mentioned the increasing workload involved in maintaining quality assurance systems and the growing limitations in available human and material resources. There is a perception among universities that the costs may outweigh the benefits. As for suggestions for improvement, universities propose streamlining national regulations to reduce bureaucratic demands and enhance sustainability. That's all. Thank you for your attention. We hope this presentation has been useful in understanding the importance for universities to develop their own internal quality assurance systems for their degree programs, procedures, and teaching and learning methods for digital education. In other presentations of this module, different quality criteria, standards, and indicators from various international frameworks will be introduced. These can serve as a foundation for each university to design its own internal quality assurance system.